Fuck, we're gonna run out of battery. What's up, guys? It's Blanks. I'm here today to give you guys a little bit of a rundown on how we put together our video for our song Black Volga. The video was shot at a house in Moreno Valley where we used a car that we had from a Camaro that we had from the 80s to impose it and sort of make it look like it was actually shot in a Volga. Volgas are pretty hard to find. So it wasn't really exactly an option. Plus, like, we kind of wanted to be sort of tricky and I guess what we would consider artistic to try to sort of create the quote unquote Hollywood magic. But yeah, I'm going to show you guys today what we did inside After Effects. We used Photoshop, After Effects, and Adobe Premiere to put it together. But pretty much what I'm going to be showing you is just the stuff that we did in After Effects, because we kind of just prepped the images in Photoshop and we sort of just compiled the graphics in Premiere. So most of it's actually really done in After Effects. And just so you guys know, this is not a tutorial. This is just a video kind of giving you guys like a behind the scenes look at how we put together the video and sort of like what we did as far as the effects. So if you're looking for a tutorial, this is not the place to look. And if you're not looking for a tutorial, then great, because you won't be bored with a bunch of random stuff that has nothing to do with the video. Yeah, anyways, let's go ahead and jump on into it. So I have After Effects loaded here. And you can see we have one of the scenes already set up here. And it looks pretty simple. It is pretty simple in its truest form. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna break this stuff down, and I'm gonna show you just the layers. So we have these stars, which this was just a very simple After Effects stock plugin effect. It's not obviously anyone who uses After Effects knows this is pretty standard stuff. And there's a lot of different things that I could have done. I could have used a video for this. I could have used like clip art like I did for some of the other parts of the videos. But I sort of I just kind of liked the vibe that this had. So we just decided to kind of like run with this. And then you have the actual shots of us, where if I break all this stuff down, you can see it's literally just a cutout of us. And again, this is inside the Camaro. So this is despite the fact that it looks like we're inside a Volga when you place it, at least on some level. If you really analyze the interior of the car, you will see it's clearly not a four-door, for one, which the Volga is a four-door. And you will see that the sides here, they lean in much farther than what you would see in a Volga. It would probably be more like up here. Yeah, anyways. Yeah, so what we're gonna do now, I'm gonna take you inside and I'm gonna delete this mask so you can actually see this was the original shot. This is the actual shot that we were, when we were in the car. Then if we come over here to our effects section, you can see that we have a couple things here. And as I turn these off, you will see everything comes back to its original shot. So yeah, this was the car. It was parked in the driveway of the house that we shot at. You can obviously see in the background, we have cars here. And what we did is we pretty much just put a green, I'm not even gonna call it a green screen because this is just like way more like low budget, very wrinkled piece of green fabric that we got off Amazon for like $8 to cover the back window so that we could screen that out. And then once we add in these effects, that removes that, which looks pretty terrible right there. But once you add in the color and we add our masks back in, you can see it's got the full cutout. The mask just cuts out all of the stuff that's in the background right here. Then you have there's the result. So with all that together, that's how we did that shot. Now, we were able to use this shot for all of the different shots in this angle. If we were to go and load up a different composition. Okay, so this is the same principle, but it's a side shot. The one thing you will notice is again, when I break it all down, it starts with the stars. And then we have these trees that I added in. And then, of course, I just masked out everything except for just this area because this is where the windows are. So if I turn the car frame back on, you can actually see that it's just where the windows are at. Then additionally, we have one element here where I just added in an actual piece of the interior of the Volga interior to sort of add, I mean, for the people who look very closely at those fine details, for one, if they look that closely, they're probably gonna be like, what the heck? This is not a Volga. I don't know what car they're in, but this is not a Volga. Or if you're really good, you'll know that it was a Camaro. But we threw the door in there because, for one, the door had a green screen over it, so that you wouldn't have seen the door, which is why it's missing right there. And then, you know, when you put the door in, it does kind of at least give the idea that for the people who do look at those little things, and I think maybe it was more for my own selfish sort of, I'm not sure exactly what I would call it. But then again, it's the same exact thing with it. When you break down the actual shot, you come over here, take off all these effects, get rid of the color for one, which has just had a bright light with some diffusion, green screens, and yeah. So we remove the green screen, add in the color, that gives us the vibe. And it's pretty, you know, it's crazy when you actually think about it because it's all very, very simple in terms of actually getting the shots. You just need to make sure you have a screen and try to get it as even as possible, which we did a terrible job at. And just try to, then from there, it's mostly just the stuff in After Effects. Like, you know, we have these trees, and pretty much how the trees actually look is as the frame moves, the trees move from left to right, giving the appearance that the car is actually moving when we're really parked in a driveway. Okay, so here's a good example. These shots were actually not shot in the Camaro. These were shot in the living room of the house. And this was used for all of the shots that are a side view, because rather than having to do it in the car with a certain amount of lighting and with doors and interior and all of this stuff, we just decided to do these shots in the house, and we pretty much just did it on a green screen on a green wall. So we'll break down all these elements to see what's here. So we have these stars, and this is just like, you know, this stuff is just clip art. It's just, you know, little cheap stuff we found on websites that was very little, you know, pennies on the dollar, basically. Same thing with the trees, added another layer of trees. Then we have a little snippet of what's supposed to be a windshield. And then this is just a photograph that was taken of the interior of a Black Volga. And these photos were actually not exactly like this. They were these really obscure, weird angles. And I had to go into Photoshop and actually prep and stretch and warp the image to sort of fit in a way to where when Ray has his hands up, that it would actually look right. So you can see he's got his hands here, and you can see a bit of the steering wheel. Obviously, that steering wheel is part of a picture, so it's not going to turn. But to give you guys a little view of what was actually happening here in this shot, this is a real shot of what we actually did. So we were in the living room, again, just a piece of green material. And this is a BMX bike that we turned upside down and used the tire as a mock steering wheel. Now, the great thing is that when you go back to the composition and you have all this stuff on it, you don't see his hands. So you can't see what his hands are doing. You just see them moving in the shot. You know, his hands are just moving in a way that is pretty typical of what you would see in some sort of a driving scene. He's not doing anything crazy, pretty much pretending like he's driving with a bike wheel. Pretty hilarious. So that's how we were able to do pretty much all of the shots. And then, you know, this same shot where we have him like this, we were able to use this for every side shot, which I believe it's only 2 side shots from this angle. There's the up close, and then there's the super wide shot. Okay, so this one, obviously it's a different shot, but you can see we still used the same shot that we did before. This is Ray with the BMX bike. Gary's just sitting in the stool. I'm sitting in the stool. We're all in the same position. We're all on that green screen, the same exact thing. And we just pretty much, we mask out, you can see these lines. This is basically, we cut out everything outside the frame of just us. We remove the green screen and then we place us right here inside this window of the car. Now, again, we'll break down this scene really quick. Some clouds here. Again, this is just clip art. Then we have, so as you can see here, we have this layer is just a bunch of photographs of like little shops in different downtown areas that we just kind of like photoshopped together. You can even see it's like some of the splits are like really, you can see right here, like in the middle of a store, it's totally cut. So it's very jalopy, but you know, it wasn't really our goal to have everything like perfect. It was kind of like just sort of throwing things together and just sort of letting it be imperfect, because not everything has to be absolutely incredible all the time like a lot of people may strive for or whatever. Yeah. So then of course we have some, because this is the section where it goes out of the city that's in the distance and now we're driving close up into the downtown, sort of little downtown area. Of course we have our street lines. We have the car. And in terms of like the breakdown of the car, it's pretty simple. We basically went into Photoshop and we broke down so we have just the car itself and we cut the tires out. And so these are the tires on their own, obviously. And then what we did was we took the tires and we just automated the tires to rotate like a bazillion times. So then that way it gives the appearance that the car is actually going, obviously. And then the lines moving and the fractal noise that we have on the street, we just took a gray rectangle, put it into 3D space and added this fractal noise effect to give it this appearance, and we made the noise move from right to left. So everything is sort of moving from right to left and the wheels are turning, and that's giving the idea that the car has actually got some sort of movement. Then we have these windows that we added on to sort of make it look like some old dirty windows are on the car, and just some little pieces to, you know, fill in these little window frame parts to make it so it covers us. And then on top of it, we have an adjustment that adds this dark blue tint to make it appear that it is nighttime, obviously. And then as this goes on, you can see, you know, we're going through this little city, and that's the same exact shots that we used that were the close-up shots that I showed you just a minute ago. And that's pretty much the entirety of how we did the actual video. So now I'm gonna go ahead and load up the video. Yeah, so now you can see we have, like I said, the lines are moving, the fractal noise is doing the street, the tires are turning. So now we have this idea that we're actually moving. In terms of the other shot, you can see we have our mid shot, our close up, and then our wide shot. And like, as far as with the wide shot, you know, it was the same picture for all the different, you know, no matter how close it was the same picture. It was one photo that we used. This was just a photo that we found of, I think it was at like a car show or something like that. You can even see, if you really look at the details in the reflection, there's like another car or like a person or something here. So obviously those kind of details are the things, like, again, the psychology is that people are going to be focusing on the subjects and not all of the like fine details. But as far as the headlights go, we colored the headlights. We, you know, drew in these were actually, this whole scene was lit with After Effects lighting. It was not actually shapes. So these are actually like three-dimensional digital lights that point out in this direction. And then we did a light here and a light here pointing towards the car. And the actual car had an American license plate on it, I believe. and we photoshopped this Russian license plate because the Volga is Russian. And of course, we put the text there. And if you look very closely, I don't know if you can actually see it in this screen capture, but this is like a little tiny pentagram. And instead of it saying EU, we switched it to FU, which is funny because that would make it a European license plate, not a Russian license plate. But hey, you know, it's surrealism, so we can do what we want. It's our little world here that we've created. These close-up shots were just shot in the back seat, and it was all green. We green screened out the background here, just like we did with the other shots. We just didn't put anything in there because if we were in a car, it would probably be very dark if it was at nighttime and we were in the middle of the forest. So we didn't really feel the need to put anything there. Obviously threw in a moon here, and it's all just the same effects. Everything is sort of just moving from right to left. And yeah, that's pretty much that's the gist of how we put it all together. We have other videos like this that we will have in the future. We really enjoyed the process and we really like the outcome of what we did with the actual video. So yeah, if you guys liked this video and if you liked the Black Volga video and you want to see more videos like this, I'm not going to say, oh, leave a comment and blah, blah, blah and all that. But, you know, it does help in terms of feedback to let us know if this is something that we should keep doing. But either way, we don't really care because we like it. And, you know, while we do this for the fans, we also do it for ourselves. So, yeah, until next time. Live long and prosper.
Filthy, Richie, rich, put the quips, nothing trickling down but the piss. Leave you with nothing but shit. Sickness is flowing from out of the lips. Singing down below the lines, what is poverty? Robbing the blind with a mockery. Slaughter the mind of the youth, hidden away from the truth. Set up the gates so they lose.